From Los Angeles to a worldwide audience, this is Boaz Power TV, where we take your life to the next level. Now, internationally known speaker and author, here's Boaz.
Hi, welcome to the Power Show. You are part of the Power Nation, and I'm so delighted that you're here. Here we help you improve your attitude, your relationships, your finances, and your career as we take your life to the next level. This is episode number 115 on Boaz Power TV, and I call this one Moments of Wonder. I was 6 years old that warm summer day in 1952 when I saw it coming down the dirt road in our little farming community in Israel. It stopped close by, and our village doctor hollered in Hebrew, "You want a ride?" "Oh, yes," I said excitedly. He motioned for me to open the back door and to get in. Not knowing what to expect, I slid into the vehicle, huddled on the floorboard, and held on to the seat. The car traveled no more than maybe 2 or 3 blocks when the doctor arrived at his house, and it was time to get out. I was amazed by the experience. Living in that small community since I was born, I'd never ridden in a car before. Never ridden in a car until I was 6 years old. The doctor was more prosperous than most people in the area, thus he had a car. It was a black 4-door sedan. To me, it might as well have been a Rolls Royce. Oh my! I was used to seeing old tractors in the fields, but this was a real car, and I got to ride in one for the very first time. What an amazing moment of wonder! It made such an impression on me that I can recall it now, many, many years later, as if it happened a moment ago. I can also recall the first time I saw an airplane. It wasn't long after I had my first car ride. I was with my parents in a nearby city when a military convoy came through town, and I'd heard about airplanes, but had never actually seen one. Although we didn't feel underprivileged compared to the Western world, we didn't have much in my childhood. There were no picture books of airplanes. There was no television in Israel in the early 50s, and we had no toy airplanes. I thought that if airplanes go up in the air, they're probably big. The first one I saw in that convoy that day was a fighter. Its wings had been taken off and placed next to it on the truck. Now that didn't matter. Here in front of my eyes was an airplane, a machine that actually goes up in the air and flies. I can recall the incident as if it was a minute ago. There it is, right there, an airplane. What an amazing moment of wonder. I can recall the first time I saw a ship. It was in early November 1956. For 5 years, my parents had been preparing to immigrate to America. That year was our time. My father had traveled 6 months ahead of the family because visas sometimes came one at a time. And so on that November day, it was time for my mother, my brother, and me to board a ship in the port city of Haifa in Israel. We would cross the Mediterranean Sea to a port in southern France, travel by train across France to the English Channel, and then board another ship to cross the Atlantic. Now that ship in Haifa, called the Jerusalem, was incredible to me. It was gigantic, and it seemed to stretch for blocks and blocks. It was longer and taller than anything I had ever imagined, and overwhelming to think that something so big would actually move in the water and float. I was so amazed by the first ship I ever saw that I still have a postcard picture of it, over half a century later, with the captain's signature. Seeing a ship for the first time was another moment of wonder. Another amazing moment occurred in the English Channel in the French seaport of Cherbourg. The ship on which we would cross the Atlantic was the Queen Elizabeth, the largest ship in the world at the time. 20 elevators, 2 swimming pools, so many decks to explore. My amazing world of wonderment was expanding very quickly. See, the reason we were on the Queen Elizabeth is not because we could afford it, because the Israeli ship that was supposed to take us across the Atlantic had some mechanical problems, so we ended up in one of the lower berths in the Queen Elizabeth. Amazing experience. And so it was about a week later when I saw her for the very first time. I was standing by a large doorway in the side of the Queen Elizabeth when we came into the harbor in New York City. There in the distance was the Statue of Liberty. She was the first indication that in this new world there were tall structures. At that time, I didn't understand what she stood for or why she was there in the harbor. However, I was sure she had something to do with how special this new country was going to be. As our ship headed toward the dock, the skyscrapers of Manhattan, topped by the Empire State Building, were spectacular. The moments of wonder were coming in fast succession. The reason that I've shared with you these moments of wonder is that as adults, most people seem to lose that childish enthusiasm and amazement of being in the moment. Do you remember the first time you flew in an airplane? The first time you rode a bike or drove a car? The first time you kissed your sweetheart? The first time you saw your newborn? Those are all moments of wonder that become embedded in our minds and our souls because they make a mark in our eternity. What about our everyday lives? Moments come and go. However, most people have allowed themselves to become so busy and so stressed that they forget to live in the moment. The next time you see something new or unique, the next time someone tells you, "I love you," the next time a small child gives you a warm hug, stop! Stop! Stop. That's a moment of wonder that will never come again. So, the affirmation for this episode of Boaz Power TV, it's an affirmation for being in the moment. You may want to write this down. It's really important. I now realize that being in the moment means an opportunity to create an eternal memory. I now realize that being in the moment means an opportunity to create an eternal memory. Thank you for being with me. If you like these messages and many people around the world find them highly beneficial, please do me a favor, forward this to 5 people you know. Suggest they go to my website, boazpower.com, and they can also subscribe to these free weekly messages of Boaz Power TV. You are special, you are unique, you are destined for greatness. I see it in you. You are a champion. Have a powerful day.
This has been Boaz Power TV. To comment, see other episodes, or to subscribe to this free broadcast, go to our blog at boazpower.com. That's boazpower.com. We're here to take your life to the next level.